do hope this is working because this is my first live stream. I'll just say this, obviously, I don't know, and I assume you're viewing. I'm not sure if you can send a chat or a message, or because it is my very first live class. But if all else fails, and I am teaching myself here, then I will transfer it all onto my phone, and I will get onto YouTube. So you will be seeing this at a later date, and all this chat that I'm saying, you will be seeing it at a later date as well. The class today is a Vinyasa. It is spiced with a little bit of power because power yoga is my passion. And the reason I'm going live this morning is because 1 year ago today, I first started uploading to YouTube, which I never ever thought I'd do. I'm an experienced teacher. I've been teaching in health clubs for a long, long time, and I never thought that I would be going and doing this all online. But there you go, that's life at the moment. And here we are 1 year later. So I have got 60 videos up there on the YouTube channel for you to view and for you to practice if you wish to. And this will be, and this is the live one. So Vinyasa flow with a spice of power. Do what you can with it. If you can't do it all, it doesn't matter. And if you're one of my students and I haven't seen you for months, then hello. And if you're somebody that comes to all my Zoom classes, hi to you. And if you're somebody coming from somewhere else, then I'm so happy that we're all getting together and doing my class. So we're going to start in a child's pose when you're ready. If you do use a block, if you use a strap, if you need some water, have it all there handy, use it at your leisure. And if anything doesn't suit you this morning, then you just leave it, or you modify it, or you do something else instead. So let's take a child's pose. And we're just going to come nice and long in child's pose. And I'm going to come this way, because I always end up switching ends on the mat. So we can come nice and long into child's pose. Just bowing your head towards the mat. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. And for the first 3, 4, 5 breaths, just being content to find your way into child's pose. So for me, it's Wednesday morning. It probably is for you too, but if you are somewhere else, it may be another time of day, it may be earlier, it may be later. So your body will respond differently at different times of day. And whether you've got your day ahead of you or whether you've got your day behind you, we're going to leave all of that day on our mats. Just bring our mind into our practice. And just let's share this Vinyasa together. So from your child's pose, coming up onto your knees and hands, we're just going to move our hips from side to side. Just a little sway and swagger into the hips, just to see how it feels as you get a nice movement through your waist. And we're going to start to circle like a big Ferris wheel. Big round circular movements through your back, stretching the back, the hips, the obliques, all those parts of our body that we don't even think about a lot of the time. And then coming back into that easy side to side. It's a nice little sway. And you can make that big and creative, or it can be a little bit less so early class. And let's go the other way with our circles. Sometimes we feel different little niggles and things when we move one way particularly. And if you do find anything in these small movements, then just be mindful as you work a little stronger. And then exhale up into your cat spine, scooping your belly in, opening the back of the shoulders, and inhale as you dip down into your cow pose. Let's do 2 more like that. Exhale round and inhale. 1 more like that. Exhale and inhale. And then a nice easy tabletop neutral spine. So my lead leg to you is my left leg. I'm sorry if it appears to be right. I'm not sure if it will mirror and turn this all around. But let's take our left leg out behind, and we're just going to curl that in knee to nose. A little knee-in tiger curl. Now, what we're going to get now is a bent leg. So we're going to keep that leg bent, and we're just going to move in and out. And you can just take this like a good legs, bums and tongues movement, but just get a little sway into that movement. We're going to do 2 more. There's one of them. And this is the other. Now we're going to hold that there, lift the thigh a little higher. If you can, it doesn't matter if you can't, reach around with your right hand, find your foot, your ankle, maybe your leggings, and then lift the chest. Try and lift the thigh. So even though you're holding onto that foot, try not to use the hold. Try and lift from the leg, try and lift from your heart. And then we're going to let the foot go, we're going to bring that arm and that leg out to extend and find a little bit of balance here. And then just bring the hand down. So we're going to wrap the knee around to the elbow. Still with the bent leg, we're going to just hinge that hip up and down. So just mobilise into the hips. Just a few times, I won't count them because we all go at different paces. And for me, it's going to be 2 more. And then hold on one. Stretch that leg out. Place the inner edge of the foot on the ground. And if you can, if your hips don't scream at you, sit back into this odd-looking little child's pose, with the sole of your foot maybe pointing forward to the screen, and your hips pushing to the back of your mat. And then come back up onto your knees and hands, and lift that leg up, and continue it around this journey towards your hands. Fingertips is fine for this one, this lunge. And we're just going to get a little bit of movement going through the hips, just in and out the hips. Easy sway, easy swagger, circles, figure eights, side to side. Just feel like your hips are getting a little more supple. And then both hands on the mat if you're lightly on your fingertips. Lift the back knee off the floor and step back to your first plank, high plank, first plank of many. If it's a little early for your plank, put your knees down. If it's not so early, find some strength in your plank here. And then we're just going to come down through our knees and chest onto our belly. Move your hands a little bit wider. Maybe take them off your mat. You can be hands or fingertips. And take a breath in and just find a nice easy cobra. Somewhere where you can roll your shoulders back and down, chest is forward, and your back doesn't feel like it's pinching. And then come back down onto your belly, chest, chin, nose, forehead. And let's do 2 more of those as well. So inhale as you roll your way up. And exhale as you lay yourself back down. 1 more inhale. Now hands are a little bit wide to push up from here, so we're just going to roll our way back down, move your hands in a little closer. And then as you come up, tuck your toes in our very first downward dog of the day. You just be wherever you want to be with this. Spread the weight evenly through the hands. If you are someone who comes to my classes, you know I'm constantly reminding you that you don't want all the weight in your wrists. You want to share it through each of your fingers. And you don't want to feel like you're stuck somewhere. So if you feel you need movement, take movement. If you feel you want to hold, then hold, whatever feels nice for you. And then just drop your knees back to the mat, so we're back onto our knees and hands. And I'm just going to do a quick spin of my mat, which is just so nice so you've got the right view. And then we're going to take our right leg out this time, stretch it out. Bring one tiger curl in, so knee to nose. Now keep that knee bent from now, and just push that leg up and in, as many as you can fit in. So this little bit of time, exhale, inhale. You can be playful, you can move the leg out a little bit, or you can be a little cautious and it can just go a little way. And let's do 2 more, and hold this last one. So lift the thigh a little higher, bend the knee in a little bit more, and your left hand is coming around. Please don't take your right hand, you'll be a big heap on the mat. And then try and lift that thigh, lift your chest. Feel that movement is coming from height, not from force. And then belly's in, heart's lifted. A little bit of a challenge for our balance. And then let go of the foot and find that alternate arm and leg. Beautiful strengthening pose for your back. And then as you bring your hand down, just going to wrap that knee around towards your elbow. And that hip hinge. Just lifting and lowering. As many again as you want to fit in. Nice easy pace. Say good morning to your hips. Let's make this the last one. Stretch that leg out. Place your foot down. And then if it doesn't bother your hips at all, sit back into a funny little child's pose. And stretch your body out. Any tension in the shoulders, any sort of feeling that your breath has rushed away with you, bring it back here. And then come back up onto your knees and hands. Lift that leg, it's heavy. And step it around to your hands. So fingertips maybe here, just take our weight off our wrists. A little wiggle around here. Just moving through your hips, circles, figure eights. Just little doodles. And then as you tuck the back toes under, we're going to step your back foot into your front foot. So we find our little goddess pose, our Malasana. Let me just do a little spring around here to face you. And then Malasana isn't everybody's choice. It's not everybody's hips. So if it's not great, it's early class, you just come up a little higher and you're here up in a bit of a sort of a bit of a squat position. Or you can even take a child's pose there in front of you. Or you can be down here with me, and it is just free movement. And then from that Malasana, we're just going to find a forward fold. Exhale. You can be ragdoll, you can have straight legs, set them on that down, and whatever makes you feel nice and relaxed and easy. So the name of the class is Don't Stop the Flow. So we are going to flow, we're not going to stop the flow. There are short periods of rest, but you can take longer if you need to. Take a breath in, bring your hands to your shin bones, so your legs are active and stretched, and your heart is forward, it's shining forward to the front of your mat. And then exhale back into that forward fold with as much knee bend as you need. Inhale one more time, hands to shin bones, and then reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling, or the sky if you're lucky enough, and interlock your fingers together, and press your palms up. So we take a side stretch over to our right side, and centre, and to our left. Now, we're not normally going to do another, but we're going to do one more to our right, and I want you to really feel this side. How does it feel? Early class, back to centre, and the same to the left. A lot of our movements we do on automatic, and centre, and then touch the ceiling or the sky with your palms. And exhale, take a fold into the first forward fold with straight or bent legs. Inhale, bring your hands to your shin bones and your heart shines forward. And exhale, fold back to your mat, hands on the mat. Take your gaze forward, step or jump to plank. So from your plank, coming all the way down onto your belly, through your knees if you need to. And just find one cobra, inhale. Melt the shoulders down your back, downward facing dog. Exhale, sun salutation, A. Variation. So again, think about your form, think about how it feels. Coming back to a nice calm breath, a nice calm mindset. And then knees and thighs are lifted, lower belly's lifted. Have a look at your hands, bend your knees, and step or jump to the top of your mat. Stretch your legs out, heart is forward. Exhale, fold to your legs. Now to this I've added, so lift the chest, bend the knees, and draw a lovely big circle with the arms, finding chair pose, palms pressing together. Inhale, straighten your legs, and as you do so, interlock your fingers, palms to the ceiling, and take that side stretch, feeling to your right side, and centre, and to your left side, and centre. Remember, we're reaching up, and exhale, fold back into your forward fold. Gaze is forward, weight on your wrists and hands, and step or try to jump to your plank. Coming to the ground or halfway if you feel warm enough, and find up dog or cobra, really up to you here. And downward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. So while we're here this time, let's take our heels and just spin them to one corner of your mat. And as you press down through your feet, feel that stretch all along that side of your body. And then spin your heels to the other side of your mat and feel this side too. Maybe one side feels a little tight. Come back to centre and exhale, press down through your heels, down dog. Bend your knees, stretch your chest back to your thighs, and step or jump to the top of your mat. Take a fold to your legs, exhale. As you lift your chest, bend your knees. Draw that big outward circle with your arms into chair pose. And as you come up to standing, interlock your fingers for the last time. And take that side stretch to your right. and center, and to your left, and center, reach the palms up, and fold, exhale, sun salutation, third one. Inhale, lift the chest, gazes forward, weight is forward, step or jump plank. Your vinyasa now to the mat or halfway, into upward facing dog or cobra, into downward facing dog. Exhale. So this time in downward dog, let's just explore taking our right leg off the mat. We're going to have a little kick of the ceiling on the sky. And then lower that leg back, just coming back down dog. And then do the same on the other leg. So up through the toes, kick the ceiling, flex through the heel and lower it back down. One more like that each side. So inhale, that leg lifts, flex, exhale, that leg lowers. Last side, inhale, that leg lifts, flex, exhale, that leg lowers. Bend the knees, look at your hands, and step or jump, top of your mat. Back is flat, exhale and fold to your legs. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep your arms all the way up. And this time as you come up, just find Tadasana and come back to your breath. It's a nice easy feel through the shoulders. We have two flows, and we're just going to start that first of two now. So inhale, the arms above the head. Exhale, fold forward into your forward folds. Gazes forward, inhale, step or jump to your plank. Now from your plank, lower your knees and just sit back into a lovely active child's pose. So push your hips to your heels and reach your hands forward to the top of your mat. Feel a little bit of activity going on through the sides of your body. And then from your child's come up onto your knees and hands. We're going to take our left arm up. Just imagine you've got a weight in your hand, and 3 times we're going to thread that arm through, like threading the needle. Exhale, and pull that arm back. Inhale, twice more like that. All the way through, and as high as you can reach. Now on this last one we go through, we're going to reach up, we're going to move our right hand forward just a little bit, and if it's possible, come up into a side plank. If you can't manage that, just go into a downward facing dog, and we'll come and join you. But if you're here with me, get your hips nice and lifted. Imagine you've got something you want to touch up there, on the ceiling, or the sky. Now extend your left arm over towards the side of your head, and turn back to face your mat, pushing up into a downward facing dog. We're going to take our right leg off the mat, 3 limb down dog, and then bend the knee this time. Just explore that beautiful stretch that you feel on your inner thigh. As you push your knee to the ceiling and you squeeze your heel to your bottom. Bring your knee to your nose to your knee, and then round your spine up like a cat spine. Send that leg high, inhale. Sweep that knee back towards your nose, but this time land your foot between your hands and help it if you need to. Take a breath in, take your right arm up. Now we're going to pull up from there, so lifting our way up into a twisted high lunge. So facing away from the screen most likely, but lengthening across the arms, across the chest. Your right hand finding the back of your thigh, your left arm reaching up to the ceiling or the sky. And then maybe there's a little more in those legs, definitely a little more in that stretch. Now bring the right arm forward, lift it up to meet your left, high crescent lunge, and then lovely strong legs here. Hands coming either side of your front leg. Step back to your plank. Come down through your vinyasa, through knees, chest or halfway. Inhale, find up facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Warming up beautifully. From your downward facing dog, let's come forward to a plank. And then from your plank, let's push back to our down facing dog. So we're just going to sort of feel like we're riding the wave here. So we're going to come over the top of that wave as we come forward into our plank. And then push back in reverse to your downward facing dog. Last one, coming over and into plank. You're just going to bring our knees to the ground and and sit back to that active child's pose. Exhale, nice and active, hips pushing back, fingertips just working their way forward. Nice release of the shoulders coming up onto your knees and hands. And this time it's our right arm that lifts. We're going to find a little bit of power in that movement and exhale, thread the needle through. And inhale, pull back. And exhale, thread. And inhale, lift. Last one of those. Exhale. This time as you reach up, really have a lovely reach up. You might want to move that left hand forwards. And we're coming up into our side plank. Legs are crisscross, absolutely fine. Downward facing dog also is absolutely fine. But if you're with me, lovely scoop of that underneath waist. Extend your right arm over. Turn to your mat, downward facing dog. And your left leg this time is lifting up off the mat. A little pause as we weave that hip open. Just feeling the strength, the flexibility in the body and in the legs. Bringing your nose to your knee, your knees to your nose. And then pushing that leg back. If you want to, you can weave it open again. And this time bringing your leg, plant it between your hands. A little help if it's not quite there. Take a breath in, and it's our left arm that lifts as we twist in. And from there, we just pull up, twisted in our lunge, anchored into our back leg. Maybe a little wobbly, it's fine. And then really strong through these arms. Touching the back of the thigh with your left fingertips, reaching the sky, the ceiling with your right. It won't be long till we're practicing outside. And then bringing that left arm forwards and coming deep into your high crescent lunge. Hands coming to frame your foot. Step back to your plank. Your Vinyasa, knees on halfway. Cobra up facing dog. And downward facing dog. Short, sweet flow. We're going to do that all one more time. You could always use this as additional rest time. Or if you'd like to, we're going to go one more time each side with our breath. So let's ride our spine, ride our wave and come into our plank. Let's push back from our plank and come back to our downward facing dog. Just one more this time. Over to your plank, knees to your mat. Sit back, exhale your child's pose. And then up onto your knees and hands, your left arm lifts, inhale. Just one time as you thread the needle through, exhale. That arm lifts back, maybe moving that right hand forward slightly as you lift side plank or just come to the down dog. If you're with me, extending your left arm over, turn into your mat, and as you find your downward dog, take your right leg up and just weave that hip open. Take your tiger curl, exhale nose to knee, knee to nose. Send your leg high, inhale. Step your foot between your hands, still helping it if it doesn't quite get there. And then inhale, your right arm lifts. Lifting up into our twisted lunge. Dropping your right hand to the back of your thigh. Your left arm reaches high. And then your right arm continues its journey up to meet your left. Hands to frame your foot. Step back to your plank Vinyasa. Knees, chest or chaturanga. Inhale, up facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Amazing. Should be a little bit of heat in the muscles now. Come forward to your high plank. Push back to your down facing dog. One more of those. Come forward to your plank. Lower your knees, sit back and really stretch your body out as you pull back to child's pose. As your hips touch your heels, come up onto your knees. Take your right arm off the mat and reach up. Little power here as we exhale, thread the needle through. Inhale, reach the arm high. Lifting up into that side plank or just finding your way to down dog. And extending that right arm over as you spin to face your mat and find your downward facing dog. Our left leg leaves the mat with a little weave open of that hip. Bring your nose to your knee as you curl in. Send that leg high, a little kick at the ceiling as you weave that hip open. Step your foot between your hands. If we fatigue, it gets heavy, it may need a little help. Inhale, your left arm lifts. Last time up into a twisted lunge. Yay. Left hand to your thigh, right arm reaches, reach, reach, reach. Bring your left arm up to meet your right. High crescent lunge, hands coming beside your foot, step into the top of your mat. And just be that ragdoll. How nice. It's like a little standing up child's pose, a little recovery before our second flow. So that one's done, that one's gone, all in the bag. Let's take a breath in, bring our hands to our shin bones, shine your heart forward. And take another fold, maybe you can keep your legs a little straighter. Take a breath in, bring the arms all the way above your head. Let's interlace our fingers one more time. Let's come back to this for the last time. Our side stretch to the right, let's go a bit further this time. And centre, and to the left. And centre that palm print on your ceiling. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, forward folds. Inhale, lift the chest, waist forward. Step or jump to your plank. Now I'm going to offer a little power here just by offering you one press up. So we lower, inhale, back to plank. Exhale, and then your Vinyasa. Through up facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. So let's come back to our down dog. Always in downward facing dog, just be mindful. Such a pose that we constantly use. One of those poses that we're in it, we're out of it, we can't even remember being in it. So observe. Use it to quieten, use it to stretch, to energize. And let's take our right leg off the mat into our three-limb down dog. Just take that knee bend. Now a little power move, we're going to bring our knee to our opposite elbow. And then we're going to swirl it around to our same elbow. Sending it back to our three-limb down dog. And then we're going to do that one more time. So opposite elbow, swirl to your same elbow, and back up to your ceiling or the sky. Step that foot between your hands. This time bringing your back foot to the floor. So we come up as a warrior one. We've got our back foot now strong on the mat. We've got both legs feeling like they're anchoring us into the ground. And they're really up to you, but how much can you stretch your body up and stay active? Take your arms from above you to behind you. Interlace your fingers again. And then just pull in the backs of the hands and knuckles to the back of your thigh or your knee crease. But keep your heart looking up to where your hands were. You can stay there or start to take a little bow forwards. And as we bow forwards, we're going to just pull our body slightly away from that front thigh and lift our arms to wherever feels comfortable and acceptable. And my hands are a little bit slippery from hand cream I put on earlier. So I'm having a little bit of a problem with those. But feel like your thigh is somewhere to settle away from rather than to rest on. And then whatever you can do with your hands, and if you're like me, they're a little slippery, they might be a little bit sweaty, it doesn't matter. Now start to lift, but only come about a third of the way up. Inhale. Still feeling like your knuckles are pulling back, but your heart is pulling forwards. And then like a big breaststroke swing in reverse. Circle the arms forward. Bring the palms together. And then just hold. Can I offer that you go a little deeper into the legs? I ask that you lift a little bit taller away from your thigh and a little more active in that stretch. Bring your hands together into your chest. And we're just going to bring the inside of our outside of our elbow to the inside of our right thigh. And then you might just need to spin that back foot round a little bit. So we have a variation here of our side angle. And even though those legs are talking to you now, they're just legs. We can maybe just be a little playful there. You want to spread your wings, you can take your arms out. One fingers push into the mat, other fingers push into the ceiling. And if you want to go bigger than that, you can extend this arm over to the side of your head, pushing equally into that right leg, but also into that left foot and leg. Slowly coming up from your angle, and inhale, warrior two. Oh, that feels nice. And just have a little big playful move through that right leg. So let's reverse our warrior. Right arm lifts, left hand to the back of your thigh. And as we do so, we're going to straighten out our right leg, and that will just flow. Arms coming wide to the side. Spread out your arms. You need to bring your back foot in slightly, absolutely. Little inhale, slide to your front leg. Come into triangle trikonasana. So I always talk about triangle pose being very angular. And angles are sharp and they're edgy. And we don't want to feel that our body feels sharp and angular. So we want to soften a little bit into those angles. Soften your shoulders. Soften the feeling in the hips. Even take a slightly bend if you need to. Keeping that spine lovely and active and long. So if you're feeling strong, we're just going to make our hands here. So we're just going to bring our hands into our chest. So our triangle pose is no hands. And as we hold our hands to prayer, we're going to start to bend that right knee again. Bring your elbow to the inside of your knee, so you're back to your side angle variation. But then we're going to turn, quarter turn, to face our front knee. You're going to have to spin on the back toes, and you might have to make an adjustment there. We're going to take a breath and push those hands out. So we were back here a moment ago. And as you pull them back to your chest, you're going to bring your elbow to your opposite knee now. And we're going to take a twist into our lunge. And of course, if you need that back foot or your back knee on the floor, please take that option. And squeezing you to your thigh. And then just bring both hands either side of your front leg. As you step back to your plank, can you leave that foot off the floor for a moment? You might need a bit of shake out. And then tuck your foot on top of your heel and take one little yogi press up with me. Inhale, exhale. Lift that foot, place it back on the mat, and take Vinyasa through Chaturanga, up dog, or mat and cobra. Downward facing dog. Exhale, now we need this down dog. And we'll move around how we're feeling this one. So whatever your body needs as you move through your down dog. Or perhaps you just need a nice still moment just to bring that breath back to balance. Let's take our left leg off the mat. Weave the hip open. So if you're coming with me, it's knee to opposite elbow. Swirl it to your same elbow. Push it back to your down facing dog, your 3 down dog. One more time, a little quicker. Opposite, same, and ceiling, or sky. Bring your foot in between your hands. Now we're bringing our back foot to the floor. So we come up as a warrior one, as opposed to a lunge. So we've got good firm grounding through that right foot. And you can still move your foot around, you know, you can have a couple of shifts around. We want to try and get our hips to spin forward if they will, our torso to spin forward if it can, and our body to lengthen and strengthen, belly in. Arms coming behind your back, interlace your fingers or your knuckles to the back of your leg, your knee, your thigh, your calf, your heart shines up. Take that bow forwards. As if your thigh was hot, you're just pulling slightly up and away from your thigh. It's not a handy shelf to rest on. And then what you can do with these hands, if they're like mine, they're a little bit slippery, you know, just do what you can, it's not a problem. You can always just leave them on your back a little bit if you want to. Not everything has to be difficult. And then slowly start to pull away. You're only coming up about a third of the way. But we want to really feel like we've got an oppositions movement as we pull our knuckles back. But we shine our heart forward. Bring the palms forward. Bring the hands into Namaste. And we're bringing our left elbow onto the inside of our thigh. So just maybe making that small movement with your back foot. And then if that feels okay and acceptable, spreading out your arms. So we say spread your wings, wide and proud. If you want more than that, bring your right arm over. So it just frames the side of your head. And that powerful Stretch through the right side of your body. One more breath here. And then slowly coming up. Warrior two. Settling into that warrior. Relaxing into your shoulders. Let's reverse, exhale. And gradually straighten out our left leg. And just let the body tip back a little bit if it wants to. Find your arms back to your shoulder line. Maybe a little slide in of that right foot. And coming into your triangle. Exhale. It just feels a little bit like a pause breath. So we can just soften out those edges and angles. And then if it's there for you, I know you're not seeing me here, but bring your hands into prayer. Nice soft knee bend of your left knee. Just bringing your elbow back to the inside of your knee. Back to your side angle variation. Spin around quarter turn so you're facing your knee. Onto your back toes or your back foot or knee. Pushing those arms up and out, inhale. And as they come back into the opposite side of your knee, as we squeeze a twist into our side, into our practice. One more breath, push through that right back leg. Bring both hands to frame your foot. Step back to your plank or your three-limb plank if you're using the power options. On top of your heel with that left foot. One press up, one plank. Lift and place that foot back down, and one vinyasa through up dog or cobra and down facing dog. Okay, so that was slow and mindful, and we felt every part of that vinyasa. You can take a little bit of time to rest. You can stop the flow. But if you don't want to stop the flow, we're going to do that all again. One movement, one breath. And we'll all meet back in our down facing dog. So from your down facing dog, take your right leg off the mat. It's knee to opposite elbow. And we swirl it same elbow. And back to your three-limb down dog. Little squeeze up. You have one more of those. Exhale. And back to your three-limb. Step your foot between your hands. Back foot to the ground. Come up as a warrior one. Proud warrior one. Take the hands behind the back. Your heart stays looking where your hands were. You reach up. Take a bow forwards. Lifting your arms to wherever they feel comfortable or wherever they can. As you lift, just come a third of the way. Breaststroke those arms forward, palms together. And as they slide to your heart, bring your elbows to the inside of your knee and spread your wings out, your side angle pose. Coming up and into your warrior two. Exhale. Reverse to your warrior. And then straighten that leg, just allow that leg just to glow. Arms coming wide to the side. Little tilt to your right leg as you find your triangle. Trikonasana, and you can always stay there. Or bring your palms together one more time. Bend your right knee, come back to your side angle variation. Spin around onto your back toes. You can always put your back knee on the floor. Take your arms forward, inhale. Then say exhale back to your chest, bring your opposite elbow to the outside of your knee as you squeeze in a twist. Bring your hands to your mat, step back to your plank or your three-limb plank, toes on top of heel. One yogi press up. Inhale, exhale, release that foot back to your mat, and vinyasa through up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. I'm sweating, are you? That's a good thing, you know. Left leg leaves the mat. Oh, let's do it one last time. Knee to opposite elbow. Swirl it around. Send it high. One more time. This is the last one of these, and they're all done. And lift it high. Big step forward with that front foot. That left foot, back foot to the ground. Stamp your mark with your feet. Come up into your warrior one. Put your hands behind your back. Leave your heart open as it looks up to the ceiling or the sky. Bring your body forward as you lift your arms, but you keep your chest lifted away from that front thigh. As you come back, knuckles to the back of your leg, heart to the top of your mat. Swing your arms forward. As you bring your hands to your chest, your elbow to the inside of your knee, side angle variation. Spreading out your wings, exhale. Coming up to your warrior two. Inhale. Reversing your warrior as you straighten your left leg. Exhale. Bringing your arms wide to the side, inhale. Sliding forward, coming into triangle. Vinyasa. Exhale. Bringing your hands back to your chest. And then softly bending that left knee. Back to your side angle variation. Spin into your front knee. As you come onto your back toes. Reaching your arms forward and up. And as they come back to your chest, bringing your elbow to the outside of your knee. If you twist your lunge for the last time. Hands come into your mat. Plank or that 3-limb plank variation. Toes on top of heel, one press up. Inhale. Exhale, lift and land that foot. And Vinyasa. Through up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Exhale. So we're just going to walk our hands back to our feet. So at the back end of our mat. And just take as much knee bend as you sort of feel gives you a little option to take a recovery. And again, you know, you can always sort of take additional time and you can leave this last little bit out. This last flow is just a one flow. And it's all about the hips. Oh no. Walk your hands back to your down facing dog. As we're going to be mobilizing the hips, let's get a little bit of movement through them in our down dog. Now I'm going to give you that power option, so you can always leave this out. You can hang around a little bit longer in down dog if you wish, and then just come join us. If you'd like to, let's go to our left side. We're going to bring our left knee to the outside of our same elbow this time. Now we have two things to try and do. So we're going to try and exhale, lift the knee above the elbow, and then bend the elbows and tap your wrist. So come back up to your elbow. That didn't make sense, you're going to do it one more time. So lift the knee up, and drop it down, and slide it back. And then just slide it down to the outside of your wrist there. So your front leg is ready for a sort of an active pigeon. So we have our leg around about a 45-degree angle. As you stretch back through your right leg, maybe you want to stay up on your toes if you've got good balance. For myself, I'm just going to relax onto my knee. Keep my toes tucked under, but if you prefer to, which is easier, you're just going to relax your 5 toes on the mat. See what works for you. Now stay lifted and proud like a cobra. If it's in your practice and if you're not confident, stay as you are. But if you can, you're going to reach our arms up, like our high lunge, like our crescent moon. Keep up and active in our pigeon. Exhale. Hands come back down. So you're back with your hands on the inside of that knee. Tuck your back toes with your knee if you put it down. Slide that knee back up to your elbow. And then complete its journey around to your hand as you come back to your lizard lunge. And this is all about the movement. No biggie. It's about the journey through a little bit of recovery now. So just moving in and out of our hips. Like we did at the very beginning. Maybe a couple of sweaty palm prints on the mat now though. A bit on your mat from your brow. That's what I hope so. It's a good thing, you know. And then let's just take that leg back to a down facing dog. Oh, that feels so good. That's one of the things I miss about teaching yoga, you know, is when we take a pigeon pose. And as the class comes out of pigeon, and you'll be aware of that. You know what I'm talking about. That lovely moan and groan we all make when we come out of pigeon pose. Back to down dog. Let's bring our right knee to our elbow if you're going to take this power move. From your elbow to above your elbow. We're going to slide it down to our wrist and then back up to that elbow. Try one more. Exhale over the elbow to the wrist and back to the elbow. And then slide it down to the outside of your wrist. A little change of position of that right front foot and then stretch out back through your left. And you can sort of start with your knee and your shin bone and your toes on the mat. And perhaps just try and get a little height here through your pigeon. And then if you're feeling brave, we're going to tuck those toes. I'm going to have a try this time. And it might be a car crash, you'll never know. I'm going to try this time and lift my thigh off the mat, so rather than rest it on the mat. So we're really up and active in those hips and legs. And if you can, and if you balance, and your courage is there, reach those arms up, activate our pigeon, don't hold your breath. And then hands coming back onto the side, inside of that leg. If you've got your knee on the floor, lift it off the mat, slide it back up to your elbow, and complete its journey round towards your right hands. A little playful move through our hips, in and out. That feeling you get when you've completed some really tough moves and your body can relax and breathe. And then we're going to bring our left foot to the outside of our left hand as well. Hopefully a little more gracefully than I did. And come back to your Vinyasa. Let me face you here in Vinyasa. So your Vinyasa again, if it's a little bit heavy, you come a little higher. If you need a recovery, let me show you. You could just keep your feet, your legs a little bit wider, but also just take a bit of a hippie child's pose. Or you can be here with me if you're still there in your Vinyasa. We've generated a lot of heat, and we've been through some lovely flow, and we've been through some strong moves. So with all the heat you've generated, and with all the courage and the confidence you've generated, if you'd like to, we'll take a crow pose. So your options are to just press the arms and the knees against one another, so create that little force, and your crow pose will be a little bit lower, therefore maybe a little bit more confident to try. Or if you wish to, you go a little higher, so you bring your knees just up to near where the armpit is. Try and go above the tricep muscle, otherwise it's a little bit uncomfortable. And then you just take that option just to come forward, and your crow will be a little bit higher, but a little bit more stable. So any of those variations, or if you're not comfortable to practice crow, then just take a little bit of time here in your goddess. So a couple of goes with your crow, or just maybe you're just finding a sip of water. And then once you come back to your Vinyasa with me, I'm just going to exhale and find a forward fold. And then we're going to lift our chest, and we're just going to sink back to our Vinyasa. We'll do that twice more. So straighten the legs, exhale, fold, and then bend the legs. Inhale, Vinyasa. One more. Exhale, and back to Vinyasa. Inhale. And then if you just take your hands from in front of you to be nice and gracefully, sit yourself down on your bum. We're just going to tuck our knees in, and then just let our head bow to our knees, and just take one lovely big full breath in, and just flush it out through the mouth. Finding the backs of your knees, coming into your modified variation of your boats. And we're all going to be in this modified variation for a moment. Now, your option to stay modified is to hold the backs of the knees throughout. But your options to come with me is to let your arms just run along the outside of your thighs. I want you to imagine you're on your bicycle, and we're going to just turn the gears up to the strongest, to the most resistance, so that with resistance on our bike, we're just going to start to pedal. So it's an uphill journey as we move through those strong moves. Chest ends lifted, cores engaged. We're just cycling up that hill. A 5, 4, 3, 2, hold 1. If you liked a little more, hands behind the back of the head. We're going to add a crisscross to those legs. For 8, let's go. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to just lightly holding the backs of the knees. And if you like to, find a full boat hold. Same up into the chest. And what really helps in boat is to take one corner of your mouth and take it one side of your face and the other corner to the other side of your face. That's called a smile. As we hold 3, 2, and just come up on 1. Amazing. Okay, so we're working our way to the last part of the class. We're going to come back onto our elbows. We're not quite down on our backs yet. When you come onto your homes, and I'll put a little hook up there on the ceiling on the sky, and I've hooked you up to that. So stay lifted and proud through the chest. So your right leg can stay bent, or you can take it to the ground, whatever you wish. We're going to take our left leg straight up, and we're going to lower it down and up for 1. So we're going to come down and up, and then we're going to draw a semicircle until we come back beside our right foot. Now we go up to down. So it's up, down, and then all the way around. And down, up, and around that semicircle. And then up, down, and around. And then lay that leg down on the mat, straight or bent. Are you still hooked to your ceiling? Your chest still lifted and proud. And there's corners of your mouth. Right leg. Lift, lower, and circle. Lower, lift, and semicircle. Lift, lower, and circle. Lower, lift, and circle. And then onto your backs. Yay! Hug your knee, traction out of my hair, and just give your legs a little squeeze like a bear hug in your back, a little massage. Flexing your feet, we're just going to take a happy baby, so finding the inside of your heels, inside of your knees, backs of your thighs, whatever works for you. And then just continue to rock your way side to side. The downward feeling in our happy baby. Most of the practice, I'm always promoting lift, upward, flight, lightness. With happy baby, I'm sort of trying to promote a little downward squeeze into those hips. And a nice easy massage of the back. And then we're just going to draw the knees together. Take both legs to the ceiling and flex your feet. And allow you to feel like you're going to hold the ceiling up. The walls are being taken away, and you've got to hold the ceiling up. That much action going on in those legs. If you'd like to, we're going to reach up and grab our big toes, our strap, or even the backs of your legs, doesn't matter. And a funny little plough really, so it's going to start to peel the pelvis off the floor, and then each bone of your back, until you start to roll into a plough. You might not be able to, it doesn't matter, do what you can, until maybe your toes find the ground in your plough behind you. But your last chance to do a power move, we're going to leave our hands on the floor behind us, and then slowly roll through each bone of your back downwards, until you're back with your full spine on the ground, and then slowly through resistance, take those legs to the mat. Keep stretching your arms away from you, full body stretch. We're going to do 2 more like that, so we're going to lift those legs up, flex your feet, hold your ceiling up, reach your fingertips, find your big toes, start to lower your head and peel each bone of your back off the mat. Maybe this is the one where you nail it, it and you get all the way over. Perhaps you only get a little of the way. Doesn't matter. Leave your arms there. Squeeze that belly in tight. Control your exit through each bone in your back. And then as your legs can always stay there. Or just the lower abdominal strengthener. Take the legs down. You've just got one more. So exhale, lift. Flex your feet, ceiling still being held up. Find those big toes. Peel the pelvis, each bone of your back, each vertebrae, till you find your shoulders, until you find your plow. And stretch those arms out behind you. Oh my word, I can feel my abdominals. But continue through each bone in your back. Squeezing that belly in tight. And finally taking those legs all the way down. Stretch your body out. And then hug your legs in. Oh, amazing. Give your back a little massage. And we're just going to catch hold of our left leg and just take our right leg to the ground. Maybe give this leg a little circle. And then take that leg across your body into a passive, oh, what a lovely feeling, twist. We're just going to slow hold here, so make sure that you're comfortable, relaxed. You can switch your body off for a moment. Maybe just feel and listen to your breath. If you're lucky enough to be outside, maybe just listen to the sounds that you hear. And even if you're inside, maybe you've got a nice quiet home. And you can just listen to the peace and quiet. And one more breath here. On your next exhale, just hug that knee in. Thank you, leg. Job done. Exhale, change. And circle around through this leg. And take this knee across the body. Exhale. Turn the head. Just make sure the body, just switch it off. Let it go limp and lazy. Include your shoulders. And include your mind. And finding something for your focus to be on. The sounds, your breath. How cool your floor is, how warm your mat is. Your muscles. One more breath here. Exhale that knee back in. Bring both knees into your chest. So I'm going to take you to Shavasana. So we're going to find our way out to Shavasana. If you practice with me, you'll know that I can offer that you just stay in your Shavasana. You can be there for as long as you wish, however you wish. Or if you're going to finish the class with me, if you're choosing Shavasana, maybe just turn me off now. If you're choosing to finish the class with me, we're going to take a gentle hug of our knees in. Place both feet on the ground. Just roll yourself onto one side when you choose. And push yourself up to a seated. So back where we started for our little chat earlier. A little bit warmer. A little bit sweatier. Just going to take one hand to the opposite and the other hand behind the spine. Just take a nice, easy, gentle twist on your breath. And we're going to repeat that the other way. The hand that's behind you, you're going to leave that there. Take the hand that's on the knee behind you as well. And then just take a lovely stretch up, heart open. Maybe let your head drop back if that's for you. Open the neck and the throat, under the chest and the shoulders. As you come back seated, just bring the forearms to the mat. Take a little sit-up variation, a child's pose. Just bowing your head, sorry about the mane of hair. And then come back to seated. Take a lovely roll of your shoulders back and down with me. Take a breath in. Arms reaching above your head, how high? And then exhale, your hands to your heart. heart, and namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this live class. It all went to plan, hopefully. And yes, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. I'll be uploading more videos. And have a beautiful day, or I hope you had a beautiful day. And thank you so much.